袋に詰められた夏のような世間では
Hello and welcome to this video about Spy X Family. Today I'm going to be talking about what makes Spy X Family so special, so popular, and I'm not going to be doing it alone. I've got my good buddy Anime Adept here with me today. How are you doing, man? Introduce yourself.
Doing good. How you doing, Event 7? I'm actually very honored to be here with you. It's absolutely amazing talking about Spy X Family, one of the sensational right now.
Right. It's just very popular. It's taken the whole anime scene by storm. What's crazy about this show is that after the first week it came out, first episode, it was like the third most popular anime on Crunchyroll, just below One Piece and Demon Slayer. And it's like, holy cow, that doesn't happen every day. Like a totally new anime most people haven't seen before, and immediately it just exploded in popularity. So
yeah, and the fact that it doesn't have so much action and violence within the show, and it's so popular with such small amount of episodes, is showing me that the anime community may be leaning more towards in narrative writing, because it's so amazing in Spy X Family with the mind-reading child, a spy, an assassin, but they're all not knowing yet working together. I just love the fact that family values, I feel like that's the real spice and amazing part of this anime, is the family values, because that's what makes us love the characters Lloyd and Yor, even though they do bad things.
Yeah, this whole show is a balancing act between the spy life and the family life, and both constantly threaten each other. Really, we're seeing how Lloyd Forger, he has become invested in this family already. In the first episode, he almost considered taking Anya back to the orphanage because she wasn't satisfying. Yeah, a few times, right? Not just once, but a few times he thought about it, because she just wasn't following his instructions exactly as he wanted. But come episode 4, when they're in that interview and the headmasters at that school, they straight up make Anya cry on the spot. Both Lloyd and Yor just whip out their worst, most violent sides possible, and it is so terrifying. But at the same time, it shows that Lloyd
satisfying.
Yeah, it's satisfying. It's showing that Lloyd, he is coming to care for this family that he had fabricated. He's already changing as a person. That flashback we saw where he was a child, he thought about how nobody ever helped him, and he decided to abandon all hope of having a happy life. He only thought about that because this experience, this mission that he's been pitted on, it's changing him, and it's making him more human.
I find that the man with 1,000 faces is finding his humanity is kind of ironic, but at the same time, it's so interesting to see it, because Twilight Lloyd, depth of a character in that moment when he's inside of the interview, and he's a well-prepared individual, as we've seen in the show. Even the guy who says elegant, that dude, he says he's beyond elegance. It's goddamn near scary. And he's a very prepared individual. And even in the interview, he knows the backstories of everyone that's in front of him and whether he's going to get a good grade. In that interview, he forgot the mission. And this was Operation Strix, in order to stop an entire war from happening. I kind of feel like for the audience, for me, it was impactful. And then I felt the same thing that Lloyd felt. They were willing to give everything up in that moment, which showed me that this Spy X Family, the balancing act that they're doing, the family aspect of it, I feel like they're willing to, because that's what they started their original missions for, because she's protecting her little brother. And I kind of feel like there might be something behind or being an assassin and her little brother always being on her mind and being safe. Is she in a situation of where she's about having to be an assassin?
Right, yeah. Let's talk about Yor for a second, because we know what Lloyd's motivations are. We know his history. As viewers, we know the most about him. Yor, we know very little about, actually, by episode 4. She is an assassin. She apparently was trained to be an assassin from a very young age. And ever since then, she has been working for a quote-unquote shopkeeper. That's who she calls it. We don't know who this client is of hers. This client will just call out of the blue, out of nowhere, and give her another job and say, you have to go kill these people. And by the way, is she even getting paid for this? Like, we don't know. Like, is this an is this a job or is this an obligation?
I think it's an obligation. Why would she ask Lloyd for, I don't have the right clothes for this certain event, if she was getting so much money and she has a job at Berlin Hotel? You know what I'm saying? She has to keep her job, but also murder people. I think she might be in a stalemate situation that we're unaware of. Because Yor's personality seems very, even her younger brother pointed it out, and maybe that's not a lie. Maybe she really is a naive individual at heart, but is extremely strong, powerful, and people are using that fact and the love for her little brother, just like in a Tashi situation.
Honestly, I think that with this show, we're going to get to learn more about Yor and Anya as we move forward, because both of their pasts are still shrouded in mystery. And we know as much as we can about Lloyd right now. There isn't too much more to complicate his past. We basically know that he was alone as a child and he had to survive by becoming a spy. We're going to see how he learns about Yor and Anya over time and how their pasts challenge his mission and how it challenges the family. So I can't wait to see how the conflict evolves out of that. The next thing that I want to talk about is Anya specifically and the experiments that she had to go through in order to become a telepath. Like, she has this whole life before meeting Lloyd that I don't even think she's really fully aware of herself. She might have blocked it out. Anya's just a child, but how did she get there to the city of Berlin where they're currently at? Like, clearly she didn't get there alone, but she ended up alone, right? And
exactly,
the only hint that we have to go off of is during that interview at the school, like that douchebag instructor asks her about her original mother. And just the mention of it brought Anya immediately to tears. Like, just it wrenched something out of her that she probably locked up and didn't want to think about. Yeah, I'm predicting that we're going to see more about the experiments and what was exactly done to her very soon. And you actually said this before we started recording the video, but you had mentioned that it's very possible that her mother is the reason why she made it to Berlin in the first place. Her mother might have been the one to actually rescue Anya from the place where all the experiments happened and sacrificed herself to make sure Anya was safe.
Yeah, well, episode 1 had some of the most information about the backstory of Anya, because we get to see her without her signature black cones on her hair, and we see her inside of the labs, and they're saying specifically that your ability will help save the world peace. But I do think that she got out of that situation because of most likely her mother. Just like you said, that was the biggest hint. The slightest thing of her thinking about her mother triggered a memory, and I think it was a stale position. We're yet to see. There's only a few episodes, but from what there is, you could just see from context, this kid is obviously a traumatic, and she got to Berlin through means that were extremely, her mother, it must be extremely important to the narrative.
It's interesting to me that in all that time that Anya's clearly spent in Berlin at several different orphanages now, the people that conduct experiments on her have not come for her yet. So it's possible that they don't know where she is. Whoever got her to that city, presumably her mother, but whoever it was, they ensured that Anya's trail was covered up. So People don't know
Yes.
about her. Nobody knows about her in that city, apparently. So we are going to see how that past comes up and how it interrupts the family dynamic between her and Yor and Lloyd, because clearly she doesn't want either of her parents to know about her history. She's worried that they'll abandon her, or in Lloyd's case, probably try to keep her safe by excluding her from being involved with him. But she doesn't want that either. So
Like you said, there's absolutely no trails or tracks in which anyone can find Anya, and it's said by Twilight, an espionage master, that this would be the best place because of their lack of records. I'm saying,
Right.
like the lack of them keeping their records. And I think that if it's not only Anya, that there's maybe other test subjects, other people, maybe even grown people, adults with abilities that we're not knowing of yet.
there could be other people going around with abilities as well. There's a war about to happen between Westalis and Estonia. So it's very possible Anya's not the only superhuman person around right now. And Lloyd and
Exactly.
Yor might have to deal with that. So
Yeah, and
That's-
I'm not gonna. It's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting thinking about it, because Thor and Twilight have yet to see a worthy foe. They have
Right.
been fighting fodder. They have been fighting fodder for a long time, and no one has showed them any type of real threat. And of course, I'm sure these experiments were happening due. You know how Cold War, they want to make weapons. They're trying to make weapons against this, and that's the reason Twilight's there. So I feel like this narrative is like, that's why it's so popular. It's so like interwoven. Everything's out, and it's so perfect because Twilight is there to stop that upcoming travesty in which Anya is involved in. So I kind of feel like maybe Operation Strix, which we really don't have a full grasp on yet. We just know that he has to do this.
yeah, we're going to see Lloyd and Yor tested by Anya's history and backstory. This whole family is going to be tested, but we have seen the genuine dynamic. We've seen the relationship. Lloyd cares about Anya, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have punched a hole through a table.
How did
right?
he get
You
it?
know, and Yor almost went on total murder rage mode for this child that she'd only known for like a day or two. So, like,
Exactly.
quickly, we're seeing the investment that each of the three characters have in one another, and we as the viewers, we're invested in them. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I know you're excited to see more of the show. Man, there's so much to talk about here. But I think for now, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, because I think we've touched upon basically the most important part about this show is the duality between the spy life and the family life. That's what makes it unique. That's what makes it special. That is what got so many people jumping onto this anime immediately after it came out. And I know the manga is super popular too. Both Anime Adept and I, we have not read the manga yet, so we're kind of going in fresh with this show. But it's really exciting just seeing what's going to come out.
Really exciting. It's really exciting. And I just want to say, and like Advent 7, I'm absolutely honored to be on your channel, to be actually speaking with you today. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm happy to have you here. With that being said, thank you very much for watching today. My name is Andrew, and I was joined by Anime Adept today. Please go check out more of his content. There will be links in the description below. Super chill dude. He makes tons of great stuff. If you love Demon Slayer, if you love Jujutsu Kaisen, he has got you covered on both of those fronts. With that being said, we will see y'all next time. Have a good one.
この世